Here I have an older Dell computer. I had some problems with it the last time. It's been several months. It's been sitting here because my hard drive crashed on it. So I'm going to pull the hard drive and see if I can fix it or replace it with another hard drive. So just to explain all the different things in here, you want to make sure that you ground yourself, either touching something metal that's grounded, that's on the ground. Make sure you don't touch any of the electric components in here, but I'm going to show you a few things in here if you're not familiar with what's inside a desktop computer. So this what you see here is the hard drive. It's in this little casing here, which I will remove shortly. You have the power supply on that side, and you have the motherboard right below that with the memory chips and everything else here. You have the CD-ROM. I have a CD rewritable drive here, and I also have a DVD drive right here. This little thing is to cool the CPU. It's a cooling system ducting. So before you can remove the hard drive, you have to disconnect some cables. There's a power cable that comes from the power supply, which you see here. There's a bunch of cables that comes from the power supply, but it's a 4-pin cable. This is an old IDE hard drive. It's not the newer type hard drives. So I have a 4-pin power connection in here, which I will remove. Some connectors do have, I would say, do have a locking mechanism, but this doesn't. And there was also another cable, this 40-pin cable that was connected here that I did remove already. So these are the only two items that I do have to remove, and there's a screw right here that I have to loosen up, and hopefully this will come out when I loosen the screw. That's my hope. So further explaining this, remember I told you the CPU is being cooled by a little fan? There's a fan right here. This is the ducting to pull air through these fins. These fins are right above the CPU, and it keeps the CPU cool. You don't see this on a lot of computers except the newer ones because the CPUs really run hot. The CPU is the brain of the motherboard. The motherboard contains a lot of other components, but the CPU, which you can see, which is actually under this these fins right here, it's actually the brains of the computer. So you have to open up the front of the cover, and I'm going to show you what the tabs that you have to depress. You see the tab right there? What you're going to have to do is to actually depress this tab to make the front door release and open up. So this has to be all released with the screwdriver, and there's another one here. See that? You have to kind of depress both of them together to open the front of the computer. You need to do that to pull the hard drive out casing. So I'm going to depress the two tabs that I showed you before, so I can actually release the front cover. You have to do both at the same time or it's not going to work. See that? See? And now the cover falls off, so now the front part is exposed. Now these are the tabs, these two here that hold the hard drive in place, hard drive casing. I'm going to see if I can actually push this out and actually release it. There's a lot of resistance on this one. So one of the other things you may ask is why not, remove these two screws here and pull the hard drive from within the casing backward. Actually go this way. But the problem is the length of this is actually longer than the gap here. I don't think I could get it out. Even if I slide it out, it's not going to be sliding out enough to tilt. I might give that a shot, but I'm going to try and remove this casing again, see if I can get the tabs loose. Another thing I'm going to try is actually straighten out these tabs with a pair of needle nose pliers. Okay, now this should be able to come out. I think there's something holding it there. We have another screw here that needs to be taken out, and once that's taken out, we should be able to pull this hard drive casing right out. That's the hard drive right there. It's a Western Digital. It's got 120 gigabytes right in here. I'm going to actually put it on the hard drive reader and see if this hard drive is even usable. I did have problems with this before, but I'm going to see if I can recover some information off it. And in the meantime, I'll put another hard drive. I'm going to detach this from these screws and take the hard drive totally out. So this is the hard drive. This is the back side of the hard drive. You want to make sure you don't touch this area with your hands. And this is the top side of the hard drive. It looks like it's made in Malaysia. I think most hard drives are made in foreign countries because it's cheaper to make it there. What you're seeing there is my little docking station I use to read hard drives. It helps me troubleshoot hard drives. I can actually connect this to the computer and actually use it as a third drive or a secondary drive, like an outside USB drive. But it helps me troubleshoot the hard drive to make sure what's wrong with it. I can look at connect it to my computer with a USB cable and actually study the hard drive. And that's what I'm going to do with this new hard drive. I'm actually going to put this hard drive that I took from the computer in here and then see what actually happened to it.